seemed to be the consensus down there. I went down to, what's it called, Trico? I think it is down there. Shoot, now I can't think. The road begins with a B. Bowman, down on Bowman. That's where I usually get my nuts and bolts and stuff. They're about as cheap individually as there are in quantity anywhere else, it seems like.
I'll have to keep that in mind. Well, Jerry, I'm about ready to pull up to the house here. I heard you calling out there. Wanted to let you know you are getting in. Audio's a little weak, a little bacon frying, but other than that, you're getting in. So I'm going to say 73, and we'll talk to you later. Take care. WATMS, KTAC.
Okay, Dave, thanks for coming back. I probably wasn't talking straight into the thing, holding it over the side so I'm not body shielding it, and I probably wasn't speaking into the mic because I'm facing away from the repeater, so that probably isn't helping the bacon frying. Anyhow, 7-3, thanks for coming back. Pat the dog on the head for me. I don't have a dog anymore. Kind of messing. We'll catch you later. W8VPV.
Have a good evening, KTAC.
Net tonight at 8:30. W8VPV. Repeater. W8VPV. Repeater. W8VPV. Repeater. PL110.9. Net.
Good evening, and welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club's Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. My name is Russ, and my call is KDA-BYT. But for this presentation of Newsline, I will be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Without further ado, this is Amateur Radio Newsline.
Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2428 with a release date of Friday, May 10th, 2024, to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. Hams help a victim of human trafficking in India. The popular Green Cube satellite is saved for amateur radio use, and the newest vehicle for Morse code is one with four-wheel drive. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2428 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent, on-the-air news and bulletin service. And now reporting from Valparaiso, Indiana, here's Paul Brown, WD9GCO.
Our top story takes us to India, where hams played a key role in the return home of a woman abducted 5 years earlier by a human trafficking ring. We have that story from Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
A woman in India who had been abducted and sold into the illegal sex trade in Delhi by a human trafficking ring is safely home after a 5-year absence after the government of India and Bangladesh combined their efforts with amateur radio operators in West Bengal. Reports in the Indo-Asian News Service and the Times of India said the woman was 21 years old when she was taken to Delhi by a friend who said she knew of an opportunity she might be interested in. According to media accounts, the two people accompanying the woman were later discovered to be Bangladeshi operatives who forced the abducted woman into a life of abuse and regular torture. The woman escaped and fled to Kolkata after 4 months and was taken in by a state-affiliated shelter for people who have suffered trauma and abuse. She underwent treatment for memory loss, and once she could recall the abduction, officials contacted the West Bengal Radio Club, which authorities credit with success in aiding missing person cases through the club's wide network of contacts. The club's secretary, Ambras Nag Biswas, VU2JFA, distributed photos of the woman to ham clubs throughout Bangladesh. He also notified Delhi police, who were able to track down and arrest the trio involved in the earlier abduction. The repatriation process from India back to Bangladesh began soon afterward. According to local media, the woman was among 19 Bangladeshi nationals who were survivors of trafficking and were recently returned to their homes. This is Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
Threatened earlier this year with having its digipeater decommissioned, the Green Cube satellite has been saved for amateur radio. We hear those details from Jeremy Boot, G4 and JH.
AMSAT Italia has announced that it has acquired an interest in a satellite known as Green Cube, a collaborative move that will save it from scheduled decommissioning. Known as IO-117, the satellite's original mission was to conduct experiments with plant cultivation in space. Launched in 2022, it carried an onboard digipeater that gave Green Cube the distinction of being the first medium Earth orbit amateur radio satellite. Earlier this year, the Italian Space Agency announced that the digipeater was to be decommissioned. Those plans sparked drives for a petition and a letter from AMSAT's President Robert Bankston, KE4AL, to preserve amateur radio use of the popular satellite. With this new arrangement in place, Green Cube will be operated jointly by AMSAT Italia and Sapienza Space Systems and Space Surveillance Laboratory. According to an announcement carried by AMSAT News Service, legal responsibility for Green Cube now transfers to AMSAT Italia from the Italian Space Agency. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
If you're starting to pack your bags to head to Xenia, Ohio for Hamvention, and you're a new D-Star user, there are a number of things you could consider adding to your already busy schedule. New D-Star users may want to attend the D-Star InfoCon. It begins on Thursday, May 16th, with a meet and greet, followed by a full day of information and activities on Friday, May 17th. InfoCon will take place at the Drury Inn in North Dayton. Meanwhile, also on May 17th, Tucson Amateur Packet Radio, or TAPR, will be hosting a forum with topics that include frequency control for next-generation SDRs and using EasyDV to get on the air with digital voice. There will be a presentation by Hyomin Kim, KD2MCR, one of the founders of the citizens science group HAMSci. He will introduce the TAPR HAMSci magnetometer. One of the most popular side trips of the weekend, the National Voice of America Museum of Broadcasting will have extended hours for May 16th through to May 19th. The amateur radio station of the Westchester Amateur Radio Association, WC8VOA, will be on the air. For details about D-Star InfoCon, the TAPR Forum, or the museum, see the links in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. If you were a part of the solar eclipse QSO parties conducted by HAMSci, the Citizens Science Research Group, one of the most exciting things Hamvention is offering may well be the initial findings from the fall 2023 and spring 2024 eclipses, as we hear from Andy Morrison, K9 AWM.
Nathaniel Frissell, W2NAF, will be at Hamvention sharing HAMSci's earliest results from data collected during the two recent solar eclipses over North America. He will be talking at the HAMSci Forum as well as the Hamvention Antenna Forum. There is an opportunity to hear him and learn more about HAMSci's related projects by visiting booth 5008 in the Hertz building at Hamvention. HAMSci will also be hosting the HAMSci Forum and conducting different presentations at the RS Yoda event. The weekend's busy agenda will also include a closer look at the HAMSci Personal Space Weather Station. For details, visit the link in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. This is Andy Morrison, K9AWM.
The company based in Seattle, Washington, has achieved an unprecedented long-distance connection in space with a satellite via Bluetooth technology. George Zafiropoulos, KJ6VU, has the details.
Using a software patch upgrade for some off-the-shelf Bluetooth chips, the Hubble network in Seattle has achieved what it calls the first low-power Bluetooth connection with a satellite orbiting the Earth. The signals traveled a distance of more than 600 kilometers, or 370 miles, prompting Hubble's CEO and co-founder, Alex Haro, to say in a recent press release that the Seattle company had clearly debunked skeptics' belief that such a feat was impossible. A press release from the company this month heralded the achievement as a critical validation for the company, potentially opening the door to connecting millions more devices anywhere in the world. Hubble Network said it began receiving signals shortly after the satellite's launch in March. Hubble hopes it will be able to present an option for communications with global coverage, creating less battery drain and lowering operating costs. This is George Zafiropoulos, KJ6VU.
The Kingman, Arizona Radio Club had been worried that the balloon they launched a year ago was lost for good. Instead, it's marking a full year in orbit this month, as Ralph Squilacci, KK6ITB, tells us.
There was good news in late April for the WB6 RER Pico balloon that is about to mark its first year of circling the Earth. Its weak signals were picked up by VK5ARG and VK7JJ. Both Australian stations copied the telemetry being transmitted by its 20-meter Whisper beacon. The Hualapai Amateur Radio Club launched the balloon a year ago from Arizona on May 19th. Traveling at an altitude of about 50,000 feet, the balloon has orbited the Earth at least a dozen times since. Reaching that important first birthday hasn't been without some struggles. The beacon's transmissions became compromised after the lower half of the balloon's 20-meter dipole sustained some damage a few months into the journey. The number of spots from Whisper stations dropped off. The club wrote on one of the forums on QRZ.com that the absence of spotting in the southern hemisphere over a 2-month period had convinced the club that the balloon's journey had ended, at least until the stations in Australia received reports on the 20th of April. Now, as its journey takes the balloon east towards South America again, there may be some more radio silence. But at least, this time, the club knows the balloon will have completed its first year in flight. It may yet have other hydrogen-filled adventures ahead. This is Ralph Squillaci, KK6ITB.
It's time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the NM5EM repeater in Grants, New Mexico on Thursdays at 8 p.m. local time. It's May, and that brings us closer to the deadline, this time for this year's Bill Pasternak Memorial Young Am of the Year Award. Let Newsline know of any promising young amateurs who are deserving of this honor. Candidates must live in the continental United States, be 18 years of age or younger. Tell our judges about your nominee's talent, promise, and commitment to the spirit of ham radio. This is your chance to help honor and acknowledge that person who will, no doubt, go on to teach and inspire others. Find the nomination form on our website, arnewsline.org, under the Awards tab. Nominations close on May 31st. In the United States, the third Saturday in May is observed as Armed Forces Day, a day of tribute to the U.S. military. One club in New York is marking the occasion with a special event activation from an aviation museum on Long Island. This event honors the first black aviators in the U.S. Armed Forces, the Tuskegee Airmen. Travis Lisk, N3ILS, has that story.
The Tuskegee Airmen broke new ground in the United States Army Air Corps, the branch of service which was later to become the U.S. Air Force. They were black military aviators, a first for the Army Air Corps, and they trained in Alabama at the Tuskegee Army Airfield in preparation for combat service in the Second World War over Europe and North Africa. The Great South Bay Amateur Radio Club is honoring the airmen's distinguished service with a special event activation on the 18th of May, starting at 1300 UTC and ending at 2030 UTC. Hams will be operating from the American Air Power Museum in Farmingdale on 10, 15, 20, and 40 meters using CW, single sideband, and FT8. The site is an appropriate one. The museum is now home to many of the retired warbirds that were dispatched into the skies in times of conflict. Hams who contact station W8VPV, the club's call sign, will be eligible for a downloadable certificate. Logs will also be uploaded to Logbook of the World. This is Travis Lisk, N3ILS.
China's lunar lander is on a mission to bring home samples from the dark side of the moon, and it's using a special satellite to solve communications challenges. Jason Daniels, VK2LAW, brings us an update.
China's Cheng E6 mission to the far side of the moon began its 53-day mission with a launch on Friday the 3rd of May. The mission contains a lander spacecraft that's expected to drill into the lunar surface near the Apollo crater, scooping and collecting samples that will be brought to Earth in the mission's re-entry capsule. A relay satellite in a specialized lunar orbit was launched earlier this year by China to serve as a bridge between the moon's far side and the Earth. The satellite is expected to be part of China's lunar missions in 2026 and 2028. China's space program hopes to eventually have a constellation of such communications satellites for use with missions that will have crews on board. This is Jason Daniels, VK2LAW.
A record-breaking, well-decorated U.S. aviator has become a silent key. We hear more about him from Patrick Clark, K8TAC.
Dick Rutan, KB6LQS, a decorated U.S. Air Force pilot and an aviation record setter, became a silent key on Friday, the 3rd of May. Dick, who joined the military as a teenager, had a distinguished service during the Vietnam War that included more than 300 combat missions. He is perhaps just as well known for setting a flight endurance record as co-pilot of a non-stop, non-refueled flight around the world in 1986. The Voyager aircraft, which Dick helped construct, was designed by his brother Bert. Dick, who had been hospitalized in Idaho with a severe lung infection, was 85. This is Patrick Clark, K8TAC.
In the world of DX, listen for Tim, N5TCH, operating holiday style as V4/N5TCH from St. Kitts, IOTA number NA104, until the 17th of May. QSL only by Logbook of the World. Listen for special event station A91 WTIS from the 11th through to the 17th of May in observance of World Telecommunication and Information Society Day, which marks the founding of the International Telecommunications Union. QSL via EC6DX. The special call sign HF25NATO is active until the 31st of August, marking the 25th anniversary of Poland joining the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Certificates and limited edition QSL cards are available. Visit QRZ.com for details. Members of Club Radio Dernal, ON4CRD, are on the air as OR90AL until the 31st of May, marking 90 years since the death of Albert I, King of the Belgians. QSL via the Bureau. If you think you can't operate mobile CW unless you have a radio and unless you also know the code, think again. Some automobiles on the market are making mobile CW operating easier than ever. Almost effortless, in fact, as we hear from Dave Parks, WB8ODF.
It seems that in the last few years, operating mobile CW hasn't even required an amateur radio license. Or so it seems. If you look at the way car makers have embraced Morse code as an automotive design element, in the summer of 2022, models of Jeep vehicles featured the DIT and the DA across the front grille. Jeep's Dubai-based ad agency publicizes. Dubai explained that by sporting these CW symbols up front, Jeep owners could feel a sense of community and a spirit of adventure in remote off-road places. This bold gesture, followed by a more subtle use of CW by the same car maker 4 years earlier. The 2018 Jeep Compass featured code on the driver's left footrest and a message spelling out sand, snow, rivers, rocks, all familiar Jeep uncharted terrain. Not to be left behind in the off-road dust, Hyundai has recently put 4 illuminated dits on its steering wheel. CW for the letter H. The code began appearing in new models such as the Santa Fe, the Kona, and Hyundai's electric SUV, the Ioniq. Now the Toyota Tacoma is getting into the traffic jam. This year's SUV has Morse code symbols appear on the side panel of the dashboard. The code provides directions to a way in which car owners can find plans to build their own 3D printed automotive accessories. So far as we know, those instructions still don't include the most necessary element, printing a ham radio license for mobile CW operation. Drivers will still have to earn that the old-fashioned way. This is Dave Parks, WB8ODF.
We challenge you, our listeners, to accept our challenge. Write a haiku that shows how you feel about all that time you spend on the air. Use the entry form on our website, arnewsline.org, and please follow the rules for writing your 3-line haiku. Sorry, but we cannot accept any entries that aren't written in traditional haiku format. Share with fellow listeners the poetry that is inspired by your ham radio experience. With thanks to Amateur Radio Weekly, AMSAT Italia, AMSAT News Service, CQ Magazine, David Behar, K7DB, DX World, 425DX News, the Great South Bay Amateur Radio Club, HamSci, History.com, the Hubble Network, Jalopnik, Motor Trend, QRZ.com, Reuters, shortwaveradio.de, Space News, Stars and Stripes, YouTube, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer nonprofit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Paul Brown, WD9GCO in Valparaiso, Indiana, saying 73. And as always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2024. All rights reserved.
This concludes our Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. Net to start in about 9 minutes.
W8VPV. Repeater.
Good evening. Calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night VHF UHF net.
W8VPV. Repeater.
My name is John and my call is WO3X. However, for the purposes of this net, I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchanging of amateur-related ideas and information, to enhance net operating practices, and to keep members up to date about club happenings. This net meets here every Monday evening at 8:30 p.m. local time, preceded by amateur radio Newsline at 8:01. We will start with announcements and then ask for check-ins from any officer or member who has an announcement of general interest to the club. Once that is complete, I'll take check-ins, call signs only 5 at a time, and confirming each call sign. Then I'll correspond with the 5 check-ins and ask for 5 more until the action dies down, and then I'll go 1 at a time. If you're a regular participant, I'll probably recognize you by call sign. If not, please give your call repeated phonetically, followed by your name and your location. When all check-ins have been corresponded with, I will close the net after repeating the announcements and giving one last call for check-ins. We also operate a band exploration net at 9:30 p.m. after this net. Please join us if you have the privileges and equipment. This evening, the 9:30 net will be on 10 meters on or about 28.360 megahertz upper sideband. Okay, here are the announcements. Let's see here. Due to the structure of the change of doing business, we have activity during the first meeting of the month, which is on the second Wednesday, which we did have on May 8th. Now, as far as I know, there's no meeting on May 22nd. At this time, the website shows that there's a meeting, but I believe that there is no meeting on May 22nd. So watch the website for that to see if that situation changes. Therefore, the next meeting would be June 12th, and we will be discussing about Field Day. Field Day is on June 22nd and 23rd. And so regarding Field Day, there is a sign-up for people who want to participate in Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Field Day operation to express their interest in participating in that. If you go to the main page at www.cfarc.org, there is, you scroll down to, it says 24ARRL Field Day sign-up form. So click on that, enter your call sign, and fill in the information. At this time, I don't think that there is a time slot sign-up yet, but for sure there is that interest sign-up form that you can fill out. So therefore, on June 12th, we will be talking probably about Field Day, and there may be some other interesting additional topics being discussed. Let's see, so that's all that, also on that day, though, there will be the election of officers. So make sure that if you want to nominate somebody for an office, correspond with them and to find out if they are willing to, if they want to be nominated for that particular office. And so along those lines, once you get the affirmative from them, fill out the nominations. Let's see, let me look at this here. Hold on, let's stand by. Okay, let's see here. Okay, there are two items there. If you scroll down on the main page, www.cfarc.org, you can view the current officer nominations by clicking on the highlighted words there. It says View Current Officer Nominations. So if you click on that, it has timestamps, names and call signs of the person making the nomination, and it has what the nomination was, and so the person's name, the nominee's name and call sign. And then if you go to CFARC Officer Elections Nominations Now Open, you click on that, and that's the officer nomination form. That's what you fill out after you get an affirmative from the person who you would like to nominate. So we will have the election on June 12th. That gathering will be in person or online at 7:30 p.m. In person, it is at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ in Cuyahoga Falls, and the address is 130 Broad Boulevard, but you get to the gathering by going in the parking lot, which is on 2nd Street, just south of Broad Boulevard. And that entrance door is just off the corner of that parking lot. Let's see, and so that's all that I have in the way of announcements. So this is John W8VPV as net control for the Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor VHF UHF net. Are there any officers or members who have announcements of general interest to the club?
WYYS, Greg and Ken.
Okay, WB8YYS. Go ahead, Greg, with your comments.
Everybody that's on the net to see this WB8YYS. Every month I receive a newsletter from the church asking what they're doing and activities and whatnot. This month I noticed that they have a thing called the blessing box where they accept however it is they do that. Now, I've noticed there are other clubs that will hold, like around Christmas, a 50-50 drawing, donate half of it to a charity. There is a club in Alliance that's auctioning off a radio now. We'll take half of that money and give it to a charity as well. And I think it would be a good idea if we did that. I would like to carry that through until the end of the year. The church was most gracious to give us a place to hold our meetings at when we were looking for a place, and especially when they were undergoing some duress there because of damage to the church from a storm there sometimes back. They really asked nothing of us outside of turn the lights off and take the garbage out, and I think it would be a nice gesture on our part if we could help them out a little bit the way they have helped us out. What I would likely ask the membership to do, and I'll start it off, next time you go to the store, buy a can of something, and we can put it in the box and help those people out as well. It's not mandatory. I'm not asking for any money or anything like that, but I think it would be a nice gesture on the part of the club, and it gives you a really good feeling of helping out those that may be a little less fortunate. Now, I think I figured out how to use the Word program, so I'm going to put a list of what they asked for on the newsletter, and hopefully tonight I can get it on the club's Facebook page there as well. And if anybody has any questions, you can send me an email. I think it's president@cfarc.org, and I'll try to answer the questions there as best I can. And John, that's about all I got. I'd like permission to secure. I got a DMR net that's talking to me here right now, and I need to go talk to that. So I'll say good evening to everybody on the net. Everybody get out there and enjoy the good weather, and we'll see you next week. It's WB8YYS. Back to you, John.
Okay, Greg. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So thanks for mentioning that, and so have a good evening there. I have you marked as out. Thanks. Okay, are there any other members or officers who have an announcement of general interest to the club? Okay, not hearing any. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins. I'll take 5. Let me acknowledge each call sign one at a time.
K8HMS.
K8HMS. I have you, Steve. Another one, please.
Number 8, Alpha Charlie Papa.
X. I have N8ACP, Chris, and there was somebody else there along with Chris. Okay, well, another check-in, please.
Whiskey 8, Echo Zulu Tango.
YAX. Okay, W8EZT, I have you, Frank, and KD8YAX, Forrest, I have you, and I'll have you as listening. Let's see, another check-in, please.
Copy Kilo, Echo, 8, Uniform, India, Bravo, KD8, UIB, John in Massillon.
John in Maslin, I have you. Okay, let's see. That looks like. Let's take one more.
Kilo Echo 8 Tango Quebec Romeo KEATQR Keith in Uniontown.
Okay, KEATQR, I got you, Keith, and there was somebody else in there. Go ahead. Your signal is fading out there, but I got KE8IQX, so we'll get back with you in a couple minutes there, so stand by. Okay, so the top of the list here, Steve, K8HMS, go ahead with your comments.
W8VPV in the net, K8HMS. You got a copy on me okay, John?
Yeah, you're coming in okay right now.
Hey, yeah, nothing much. Just say good evening to everybody. Good to hear everybody. And just wondering, I was on the air a little bit this weekend. I don't know if there was some kind of solar thing going on, but boy, a couple days I heard nothing. I mean nothing. So I don't know if anybody else ran into that or not, or it was just me here in the valley. So anyhow, guess that's about it, and hopefully see you on 10 meters. W8VPV, KHMS.
Okay, Steve. Yeah, there was a CME, and so it seems to have affected 80 meters considerably. And along those lines, there were a few evenings where the Aurora Borealis was vivid, and it could actually be seen in Cuyahoga County, and then of course Wisconsin and Minnesota, and upper parts of Michigan. So yeah, that's what the disruption was about.
Yeah, I was just curious because it was just weird. Any band I was on, there was like nothing. So, okay, thank you, John. Back to net.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Oh, and the last one that checked in there was KE8VQX, so we'll get back with you. Let's see, so Chris, N8ACP, go ahead, Chris, with your comments.
Good evening there, John, and all on the net. Yeah, the solar storm was what caused the disruptions on the bands, on the high bands. 20 meters was just about completely wiped out. 15 meters was okay, 15 was okay, and 10 meters is open today to central Mexico, so the storm is waning from a 5 category to probably less than a 2 or a 1 right now. Neat to see the Aurora Borealis here in northeast Ohio on Friday. Last time I saw it was in Fairbanks, Alaska, and we got a lot more colors down here. The 2024 CQ WPX single sideband final results came out. I placed 86th in the world in the single operator, low power all bands wires overlay. First time playing with the big boys outside of the RIC category. So I did okay. I didn't really give a good effort. I didn't break the 250,000 mark with my final score, which was 246,826 points after a 1.9% error rate, which was about double what I hoped it would be. So we'll do better next year. I did read the newsletters, the CFARC newsletters from April and May, and I also agree with Greg. I'm sure that I have some extra canned goods sitting around here that are still perfectly within date. 7-3 to all. Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa.
Yeah, very good on that contest, Chris. Yeah, I got my report, and I just, let's see, somebody had me wrong. Only one. There was only one that had my call wrong, but I had a couple of them wrong. So, but I didn't have anywhere near the points that you did. So, congratulations on your achievement there. Okay, let's see. So next is Frank, W8VPV. Go ahead, Frank, with your comments.
Good evening, John, everybody on the net. Yeah, Steve, I don't know if you missed it totally, but we had a pretty massive X-Class flare in CME this weekend. Actually, it occurred last week. It hit the planet this weekend. There was aurora. It was visible in Summit County. You had to be there at the right time to see it, but those that saw it say it was amazing. I unfortunately did not. And yeah, I was kind of spot checking the bands throughout the weekend, and there were times when I heard absolutely nothing anywhere. I went from 160 on up through 10 and could not find anything. So it definitely wiped the bands out. Quite an amazing demonstration of what the sun can do when they want to. As far as a possible meeting, I've got a text in to Anthony. I've not heard back yet. I thought at one point there was some discussion that would be a field day planning meeting. I don't know if it's going to be in person or Zoom-wise, so I guess stay tuned, and when I get through to Anthony, we'll get the calendar updated, club calendar updated. But that's really about all I have. So let me hand it back to you, John. Let's see, what band are we on? Is this 6 meters tonight? I don't know. I'll let you announce it when I hand it back to you. W8VPV, back to net.
Yeah, fine business, Frank. Let's see. Yeah, I check in every day, Monday through Friday, to the Sunbelt Service Net, and they're on 80 meters. And it was today the net control was W4JKT, which I usually have like an S9 copy on him, and he wasn't even moving the needle at all, and but I was able to check in. Yeah, regarding the meeting, yeah, like I was saying, I still see it on the calendar for. Let me look. Yeah, May 22nd. So yeah, go ahead and correspond with Anthony and find out, and then. Maybe he could add, if there is going to be a meeting, add something on the calendar on that date to say what it's about. So let's see. That's all I have for you, Frank. Anything else?
No, that's all, John. We'll hand it back to you and catch you on band expiration net tonight. W8VPV, back to net.
Yeah, again, that's on 10 meters tonight, 28.360 megahertz upper sideband. Okay, so let's see. The next Forrest is listening. That's KD8YAX, Kilo Delta 8, Yankee Alpha X-ray. And so next is John, KE8UYB in Maslin. Go ahead, John, with your comments.
Good evening, John. Hello, everybody. Playing some radio. Mostly, we're basically came home from work today. Went on station for about an hour with a wife, my cousin, and John, and one of his buddies.
John, very good. Thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, next was Keith, KE8TQR. Go ahead, Keith, with your comments.
W8VPV, KE8TQR. Good evening, John. Good to hear you tonight. Thanks for taking my check-in. Good evening to everyone else here on the net tonight. Good to hear everybody. I heard Chris talk about seeing the Aurora Borealis Friday night, and I'm sitting here kicking myself because I didn't even look out the door, didn't even think of it, but I'm kicking myself because I've missed the chance of seeing that from Ohio. Well, you know, maybe there'll be another event in 20 years and I'll see it then. Hi. Probably not. But anyway, I had a great day here at the QTH. I did some work out in the yard. I got a section of tower painted with its first coat of paint, and hopefully I'll be able to put some more on tomorrow. Other than that, that's about it. I won't keep everybody, and hope everyone has a great evening, great rest of the week, and everybody stay safe out there. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you again, John. Looking forward to the 10-meter net tonight, and I'll be there as well. So this is KE8TQR saying 73, and God bless.
Keith, regarding painting that aluminum tower, do you use a special primer or anything like that that's compatible with aluminum? Over.
No, but what I do is I take either 220 or 400 grit sandpaper and I scuff up the aluminum real well, and then I paint it with, I'm trying to remember what I use. It's out in the garage right at the moment, and it's just paint that I pick up at Home Depot, and the color is what they call chocolate pretzel. I'm not sure that's a color, but that's what they call it on the can. But that's what I do. KE8TQR.
Okay, yeah, very good. That sounds good. So have fun painting that, and we'll talk with you some other time. So 73, and have a good evening. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, and so next is Joe, KE8VQX. Go ahead, Joe.
W8VPV, this is KE8VQX. Hopefully I'm coming in a little bit better now, John. I stepped outside of my neighbor's house. So good evening, John, and everyone else on the net. Good to be here. Just over here at my buddy's place. We're playing with some crossbows, and, well, not playing with them in the house, of course, but adjusting and so forth. I've never had one before, so kind of fun. Maybe hunt with it at some point. But yeah, I was around for the auroras. It was amazing. We got some really good pictures with the phone. The weird thing is we really couldn't see them too well with the naked eye, but as soon as you put the iPhone up there, it was amazing. Anyway, that's about all I've got, John, so I'll give it back to you. This is KE8VQX, back to net control.
Okay, Joe, very good. Well, have fun with those crossbows, and it was good that you got to see that Aurora Borealis there some. So 7-3, and have a good evening. Okay, that takes us to the bottom of the list. So this is John, W3X, as net control station for the Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor VHF UHF net, asking for check-ins.
Kilo 8, Bravo India, K8BI, Bill in Cuyahoga Falls.
K8BI, go ahead with your comments. It seems like the action slowed down a little bit here, Bill.
Well, good evening, John, and everybody else. Don't really have anything special to say. Congratulations to everyone that got to see the Aurora Borealis. I guess it's 9 o'clock. Everything's digging here. and hope to see everybody again same time next week. So have a good week coming up. W8VPV KAPI.
Okay, Bill, very good. Thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening, and stay well there. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins. KE8 KVI. Go ahead, Ron. Go ahead with your comments. There was somebody else in there. We'll get back to you.
Oh, not really much to comment. Really sad I missed the Aurora Borealis, but I've got an expressway less than 100 yards off my backyard, so I have a feeling light pollution had something to do with it.
Yeah, yeah, you wouldn't be able to see much there. Fortunately, nobody crashed or anything on that curve, on that exit curve, or at least nothing that made the news. Over?
There's a lot of accidents that happen there on a regular basis that never make the news, but that's probably because nobody really dies there. They just get messed up.
Yeah, that's something there. I don't know what they're thinking. I guess they're not looking where they're going. You know, they're just getting off the exit and not knowing how fast they're going, and because they're on their cell phone.
So they kind of obviously, you know, they missed the obvious big arrows saying there's a curve and the sign that says stop 400 feet ahead. But apparently they missed that, and they just go sailing right through that stop, and one of them actually went all the way across the street and hit a house.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah, there was an intersection up there toward Cleveland that had that problem for 30 years. Well, they changed it. It was a 2-lane exit. So if you want to go to the left, you have to be in the left lane. If you want to go to the right, you have to be in the right lane. And now there's like a triangle-shaped island in the middle, and I think there's a traffic light post there. So that seems to have reduced the crashes there, going across, all the way across the street and into houses.
I wish they would do something here, but I don't expect they will. I don't think they really know what to do, even though I've suggested things like, why don't you put rumble strips across it so they know that they're coming to a sudden stop?
Yeah, that would help.
They didn't think so, because they never did it. I told them that a couple of years ago. They actually interviewed me on television. That was annoying.
I saw you on there.
Don't like publicity.
Yeah, very good. Well, good luck with that. So, thanks for checking in, 73. Have a good evening, and watch out for those crazy drivers there. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins.
K8PU?
K8PU, go ahead, Larry, with your comments.
Well, not much to say, John. Just enjoying this weather, and I've been waiting for it a long time, and just happy to mow grass. All that good stuff. Okay, yeah, just we did get a little walk in this afternoon, enjoying the weather, something down the Cascade, and went over to Bab, did that hill. That was, one time of that was enough. Okay, John, catch you over on, let's see, is it 10 meters, I think, this week? So catch you on 10 meters, 9:30. Back to you. W8VPV, K8PU.
Yeah, very good, Larry. Yeah, it was nice not needing to have the sun lamp on to make it 80 and sunny. So that's real nice. And yeah, we're on this evening, 28.36 megahertz upper sideband, plus or minus QRM. We'll see. So thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins. Okay, I got KE8 and then something X. What was before the X?
Kilo Echo 8 to Papa X-ray.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead. Kilo Echo 8 Zulu Papa X-ray.
Good evening to everybody on the net. Hope everybody's enjoying the weather. Haven't heard anybody mention the Dayton Ham Fest coming up. Well, I don't have a whole lot to say. I just wanted to check in. Look for everybody on 10 meters. Back to net.
Yeah, okay, Jesse. Well, let's see. One guy had bought a ticket, but he got some kind of ailment in his leg, his one leg there. He can't. That came up since he bought the ticket. So he was on a net yesterday evening, and he's pretty sure he's not going to go now. And let's see. So he was the only one that I knew was planning to go. Although, wait a minute, KFAG, yeah, he mentioned he's going. That was on the Sunday evening 6-meter net. So let's see, he's the only one that I know is going. So thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John W8VPV at the mic asking for check-ins.
November 8, Bravo Alpha Yankee, Ralph and Stowe.
Go ahead, Ralph, with your comments.
This is N8VAY. Not really much to say tonight, just listening and wanted to check in. Hope everyone has a good week this week. W8VPV from N8VAY, 73 all.
Okay, thanks, Ray, for checking in. Ralph. Thanks, Ralph, for checking in, and 73, have a good evening. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins. Yeah, the weather is beautiful out there this evening, so I expect a lower count on the check-ins. So, are there any other check-ins? This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor.
I miss when the next in-person meeting is.
Well, we're not sure, but for sure there's one on June 12th. Forrest, June 12th, in person for sure. Frank and I are, the calendar shows May 22nd, but we're not sure about that yet at this time. So keep a watch on that calendar. And let's see, next week, we will know, we should know for sure by next Monday on the nets. So that's the story on that, Forrest. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins. Okay, I'll repeat the announcements and then I'll give one last call for check-ins. Okay, like I just said, there is for sure the next in-person meeting will be on June 12th, and that will also be, there'll be a discussion about field day, and there will also be the officer elections. So regarding the officer elections, if you know somebody who's a member who would want to possibly be an officer, ask them if they want to be an officer, and if you get an affirmative on that, then fill out the officer nomination form, and where you put your name and your call sign, and you put the nominee's name and call sign, and what office they would like to be an officer for. Don't just put somebody's name in there without finding out. And so that election will be on June 12th. And also that June 12th we'll discuss field day. Let's see, so watch the calendar to see if it's confirmed about a possible in-person meeting on May 22nd. It's on the calendar, but we're not sure that the calendar is correct about that, but it may be. Okay, so let's see what else we have. That's about all there are in the way of announcements. So the band expiration net at 9:30 p.m. this evening will be on 10 meters on 28.360 megahertz. That's upper sideband, and there's usually not QRM, so we'll be real close to that frequency. Okay, that's all that I have in the way of announcements. So this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John, W8VPV at the mic. Last call for check-ins. Okay, not hearing any. In preparing to close this net, I would like to thank all of you who took the time to join us and check in tonight. Without your participation, there would be no net. This has been John, and my call is W8VPV, and it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, I will close the net with 14 check-ins counting myself and return the repeater to normal customary amateur radio use. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor closing the net at 9:14 p.m. local time. 7-3. The net next week will be on 40 meters. The band expiration net at 9:30 next week will be on 40 meters. This is W8VPV clear.
W8VPV. Repeater. W8VPV. Repeater.
Good evening, fellow amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday Night Band Exploration Net. My name is John and my call is W8VPV. However, for the purposes of this net, I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchanging of amateur-related ideas and information. to enhance net operating practices and to keep members up to date about club happenings. This band exploration net meets every Monday evening at 9:30 p.m. local time, preceded by the VHF-UHF net at 8:30 and Amateur Radio Newsline at 8:01. The frequency of the net will be on the calendar, www.cfarc.org. And next week, this net will be on 40 meters on or about 7.187 megahertz. Lower sideband. Let's see here. When checking in, please give your call repeated phonetically, followed by your name and your location. Also, let me know if you have any comments or traffic for the net, or if you are checking in and out. I will start with announcements, and then call for officers or members who have items of special interest. Then, when all is checked in, I will repeat the announcements. After that, I'll give one last call for check-ins, and then close the net. Okay, here are the announcements. The next regular meeting of the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club, for sure, in person, will be on June 12th. There's a possible in-person meeting on May 22nd, but watch the calendar to see if that gets corrected. It shows that it's on there, but we're not sure that that's accurate. Since we went to the Board of Governance, we don't have to do business at the first meeting of the month, which is on the second Wednesday of every month. Let's see. So also that June 12th in-person and on Zoom meeting will be the election of officers. So if you want to nominate somebody for an office, get an affirmation from them first that they want to be an officer in that position, and then fill out the nomination form, which the link is on our main page here, www.cfarc, and on the left-hand side, the left side of the page there's you can view the current officer nominations by clicking on the link, and then if you have someone that is willing to run for an office, then click on the link to the officer nomination form and put in your name and your call sign, and put their name and call sign under the office that they are willing to be a nominee for. Also at that June 12th meeting, we'll be talking about field day. So regarding field day, there is on that same page, there is it says 2024 ARRL field day sign-up form. If you're interested in participating in our field day operation, which will be on June 22nd and 23rd in Silver Springs Park on Groundhog Hill, which is over by the campsite area. Then click on that form and put in your name and other information that they want. At this time, there's not a time slot sign-up sheet, but at least from this, we can tell how many stations we would have, like A3, A4, or A5. So please consider that and sign up for the field day on the field day sign up form. Let's see, and then at the beginning of the VHF-UHF net, it was announced by President Gregg, W8VPV, that we will be taking one canned goods per person in person to the place where we meet as a contribution for having us use their facilities. So either get something at the store or look around, see what you have, and bring one can to the in-person meeting on June 12th. Okay, that's all that I have in the way of announcements. So this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John W8VPV at the mic, asking for officers or members who have information of special interest. Okay, not hearing any. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins. I'll take you one at a time. K8HMS, let's see. I'm on, can you hear me okay, Steve? Okay, so what's going on there, Steve? Okay, Steve, can you hear me any good on this one? Is it better or worse? Okay, very good. Yeah, I didn't get to see the Aurora Borealis. I guess I should have gone up to the Bowledge School parking lot or something. But, well, now with that construction, they have a lot of lights up there, so I don't know where I could have gone, but some people did see them, and on the Channel 8 News, the guy said that it was visible from in Cuyahoga County, so a lot of less light pollution there. don't know how far above the horizon that went. You might have been too low to see over the horizon. Yeah, very good, Steve. Okay, 73, have a good evening there, and we'll probably hear you on the net next week. The band exploration net at 9:30 will be on 40 meters next week. That's on or about 7.187 megahertz. Usually we have to move up in frequency some. So thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, this is Whiskey 8, Victor Papa Victor with John, W8VPV at the mic, asking for check-in.
November 8, Alpha Charlie Papa.
N8ACP, what's going on there, Chris?
Hey, John, good evening. Thanks for on the net. Well, since the last net, I've worked Mario in Chile on 20 meters, also Vancouver on 20 meters, and Dominica on 15 meters. So I think the bands are opening back up again, over.
Yeah, they said on the Channel 8 News that the problem, or, that the Aurora Borealis and that wouldn't be visible now, that I guess yesterday or whenever was the last of it. So yeah, the signals should start improving soon. And well, it sounds like they already started improving.
Yeah, the A number it lags behind. The A and K numbers lag behind the real-time measurements. They don't post those right away, but yeah, last night we were hoping to see them again here, but I guess the only people that saw them were right on Lake Erie, and they were just barely visible over the horizon. So I think the solar event is over, but we still have plenty of solar flux indices to keep the bands running. So, anyways, that's all I've got, John. Back to you, W8VPV from November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa. Thanks.
Okay, Chris, very good. 73, and have a good evening. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-in. Okay, Forrest, I have you, and I heard Keith in the background there. I'll get back with you in a moment, Keith. Okay, Forrest, so I have you in and out, but listening. So thanks for checking in, Forrest. One for the numbers. Thanks. Okay, KEATQR. Let me change the antennas here and see. Hold on. KEATQR. Can you hear me better? To the beam antenna. But it's go ahead with your comment. This way. I sound on this antenna for you? Yeah, okay, Mark. Well, what I did, I was on the horizontal beam talking with Keith. He's down there along Killian Road. And so for you, I heard you, but not very well, so I switched to the vertical antenna. So I have a good copy on you on the vertical antenna. So thanks for checking in, and I guess your coax is still okay. So 73, and have a good evening. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-in. W8VPV, what's going on there, Frank?
Possible second meeting this month, just stay tuned to the website, and if it's been clarified by next week's net, I'm sure we'll announce it there also. Other than that, nothing exciting to report. Excuse me. Looking forward to getting my yard cut again now that I've got my lawn tractor up and running, and eventually you got to get that Seapark stuff back into the storage facility. Now the Hamfest is behind us by over a month. But it'll happen one of these days. Back to you, John, W8EZT.
Yeah, okay, Frank. We could do it someday this week except Friday. Let me know. Let's see, they're talking about rain, but again, so let me know when you want to do that, and let's see, I guess send me an email message or something if you want to do it this week. Over. Well, let's see. The wife has an appointment in the morning, but early afternoon ought to be okay.
Perhaps in the morning if it's not too dew-soaked, but all right, maybe I'll give you a call about noon or 1 o'clock and see if we can do it then. It should be a real quick trip. As you know, we didn't take much stuff out this time.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, call me on the cell phone. You have my cell phone number.
We'll hand it back to you and see who else is out there. W8EZT, back to net.
Okay, very good, Frank, and I'll probably see you tomorrow then. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John W03X at the mic asking for check-in. Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-in. Okay, I don't hear any at this time, so I'll repeat the announcements and then I'll give one last call for check-in. Okay, so the next meeting that we know for sure in person and on Zoom is June 12th, and that will also be officer election. So if you know someone that may want to be an officer, then get an affirmation that they want to do that. Don't just fill out the form and put somebody's name in there. You have to get an affirmative answer from them that they would be willing to run for office. And what we mostly need is a treasurer. So if you or you know somebody who's a member that would like to be the treasurer, then fill out the form. Find out if they want to be the treasurer. Fill out the form and submit that so that we have a nominee for a treasurer. The situation right now is that we have one person that has been nominated for 2 offices. So we need for sure a treasurer in case that person ends up going for the other office. Okay, again, that will be June 12th. So that nomination form is on our website. It says you can view the current officer nomination, and then by clicking on the link. And then right below that is the CFARC officer elections nominations now open. So when you find somebody that wants to, that is a member, they have to be a member of Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club. Then click on the officer nomination form and fill them in as a nominee. Let's see, and also that day, that June 12th, we will be discussing Field Day, which is on June 22nd and 23rd. And so, in order for us to tell how many stations we're going to have, like 3, 4, or 5, we would like to have interest shown. And so, on that, just above that nomination, current nomination line is the 2024 ARRL Field Day sign-up form. So click on that link there, FD sign-up form, and let us know what interest you have in operating or helping in some way with Field Day. Let's see. So regarding a possible in-person meeting on May 22nd, the calendar right now says that there is one, but that has not been confirmed. So we will know by net time next Monday. So, but keep a watch on that. Again, that's on our website, www.cfarc.org. Let's see. And our president, Greg, W8VPV, has suggested that for a contribution to where we have our in-person meeting, we're requesting that each person that attends in person to bring 1 canned good. So, 1 food canned good. So, you can buy one at the store or something, or if you have something in your own cupboard there, and bring that to the in-person meeting on June 12th. June 12th will be the day we'll be collecting the canned goods. Let's see, that's all that I have in the way of announcements. So this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John W8VPV at the mic. Last call for check-in. Okay, not hearing any. In preparing to close this net, I would like to thank all of you who took the time to join us and check in tonight. As mentioned earlier, this band exploration net meets every Monday at 9:30 p.m. As I mentioned earlier, next week the frequency will be on 40 meters on or about 7.187 megahertz. Usually we end up having to go up in frequency a little bit. Please feel free to check in regularly, even if only for a moment. All comments are welcomed and valuable to us. This has been John, and my call is W8VPV, and it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, I will close the net and return the frequency to normal and customary amateur radio use. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, closing the net at 9:58 p.m. local time with 6 check-ins counting myself. 7-3.
W8VPV repeater. W8VPV. Repeater, TL110.9.